It's just the right thing to do, and it shows America at its best. I mean, over the past 20 years, USAID saved 90 million lives. There is no federal agency besides USAID who can claim to have done that. I mean, that is truly incredible work. It is providing food and medicine and other life-saving care to people who really do need it. But number two, it is very much in U.S. interests. I mean, the reality is that if we want good trade deals that benefit American businesses, American consumers, then we need to have good relationships with other countries. If we want to have a military presence abroad and we want to make sure that we're countering our adversaries, we need to make sure that countries want to work with us. And providing this sort of life-saving care is kind of the carrot that leads to all of those things.
The big question is how? Struggles have you been facing lately with USAID essentially been obliterated earlier this year? How are you filling that void right now? What projects have you been working on lately?
So lately, we've been very focused on PEPFAR, which is an HIV/AIDS program that President Bush started. We were able to pretty much protect PEPFAR from some of the cuts the administration was proposing. There was a slowdown in funding for PEPFAR, and some of that money has not gone through. But at the very least, Congress opposed some of the most drastic cuts the administration had proposed for PEPFAR, and that was one of our key points of advocacy. Going forward, we're in a very difficult political climate for foreign aid. So I think it really is about figuring out, which specific programs have support in Congress and across the country. PEPFAR, for instance, was very strongly supported by Susan Collins, so it was something we could push on. What are the other programs like that? How can we protect funding? How can we make sure that, we see as few lives as possible being lost over the next couple years due to shutting down these programs?
You talked about Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine. What other congressional leaders, House, Senate, maybe even state legislatures too, governors, stand out to you right now, Republicans and Democrats, that are still really hitting the drum hard to try and make sure that the work that USAID had been doing continues right now?
And so, for instance, Mike Turner and Brian Fitzpatrick voted against the rescissions package in the House. Those two representatives, this was a bill to kind of formalize the cuts to USAID, and they were the two Republican representatives who voted against it. So there are a few, and then there's a bunch others who have historically been very supportive of foreign aid and maybe haven't been as vocal lately. And so we go into their offices and, we can have a good meeting with them and we're very much on the same page, but then maybe they're not out publicly where they need to be. I'll give a great example of that. Bill Cassidy, his staffer in the Senate is actually a former employee at USAID and covers all foreign affairs issues for Bill Cassidy. And so, that is an office that is very much on board with foreign aid, but hasn't voted like that lately. And so that's the key disconnect we're seeing. These offices, policy-wise, have supported these programs for decades, and that's the kind of support we're trying to build upon. Then they're pretty scared to go out against the president on any of these things right now.